Country music star Garth Brooks has been accused of sexual assault and battery in a lawsuit filed in California today. The report says Brooks raped a woman in 2019, only identified as Jane Rowe, who worked as his hairstylist and makeup artist. She alleges the rape took place during a work trip in which Brooks only booked one hotel room. She accuses him of showing his genitals, sharing sexual fantasies, regularly changing in front of her, and sending explicit messages. Brooks previously denied the claims, but has not made a statement in regards to the new lawsuit.